Alright, we got a B5SA today. Complaint is no lockup, and it's got a P0741 TCC stuck off code. 10 millimeters on the most all of this up top. Got 4 tubes here. They should have little filters in the end of them. And if they stay up inside there, you're going to want to make sure that you get them back out. $17 millimeters on the banjo bolts. There's a washer on each side. Some of your speed sensors are going to have shims on them. Make sure they stay with the speed sensor and that you remember where it goes. Now somebody's already been into here. I put a torque converter in it. Left that bolt right there out for this cover. Probably bolt. If you've never done one of these before, you're probably going to want to keep the bolts that come out of here separate. Keep everything together. You know, the bolts you take off the solenoid, keep them with this solenoid. You have a tube that sends fluid back, and you got 2 more of these tubes, and they have screens in them also. Make sure that they are with it. You want to mark your pressure sensors and remember where they came out of. There's a washer on the back side of these. Most of the times you get these in a kit, sometimes you don't, so you want to keep your washer in case you need to flat file it. $14 millimeters on the main case. There's little spots here that you can hit the back cover with and get that up. Alright, you can leave all this in there for right now. Just make sure not bend those tubes. Go ahead and pull our park actuator out. There's a little tab here on this that holds it down. We're going to have to bend that up. $10mm on this cover. You're going to need to remember how these were, so either take a picture of it. Usually what I do is I just write it on the case. So I'm going to go green, pink, orange, white, blue. $10mm holds that in. There's another 14 down inside here. Remember how your park actuator goes together. And there's a dowel pin here, or a dowel pin, there's a roll pin. It needs to be lined up with the notch in the case. There's a snap ring right up here. You're going to want to release that and your shaft will start to fall down. Alright, I can't remember if these are left hand or right hand. Right hand. This one's left hand. Alright, there's a tube down inside of here. You can pull that out. There's a tube up here. I'm going to pull that out. And if you can't strike these straight, get you a puller and pull your gears off. If you don't strike them straight, you're going to screw the threads up. I use 2 heel bars. And I pull these up. And this one here, not going to be able to get underneath it right off. Okay. You can keep a little bit of pressure up on that. I'm going to use a flat punch on my air hammer. Let's see if I can keep it on there. And of course, since we're on camera, it's going to be difficult. Go. Okay, now there's a couple spots where we can get underneath here. We're going to pry our case up. Make sure your gear's okay, your bearings. Everything that's left on there can be left on there. Check your race for your differential. Almost always this stuff is in good shape. We've got a couple tabs here we need to bend out. Okay. Make things easy on me, I got these tie straps. I've been reusing them. I've used them for probably, this set here, probably about 12 years now so far. As long as you don't destroy them, they stay in pretty good shape. Check your fork here and make sure that it's okay. Usually I get two people to bring this up. Make sure that your slider is okay where it engages on the gears here. Both sides. Every once in a great while that's bad, but usually not. So I just get a tie strap and I tie this all together. Now let's see if I can do this without, I don't think so. I'm going to have to get another person. One's going to have to grab two shafts, the other one's going to have to grab one. Pick the shaft up.
Yep.
You need to get up underneath it. Looks like a speed sensor. Where the hell did that come from?
That's a very good question. There's no internal sensors in this thing
I
anyway.
don't have a sensor that looks like that.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's pretty clean, ain't it?
Yeah.
You just did this thing or what?
There's no lockup. Alright, let me figure out where the hell that thing came from. Unless somebody stuck the wrong speed sensor in it.
And it broke off.
And it broke off.
Yeah. Couldn't get it out. Nah, just leave it. It'll be alright.
Huh.
It's so wide.
Okay, you can leave this shaft altogether. Found part of a speed sensor, but this one does not have a speed sensor that looks like this. So I don't know, I'm not sure what somebody did here. Maybe they put the wrong speed sensor in it. I don't know. Alright, these tubes are really bad about breaking. This has the updated ones in it already. So if you don't have the updated ones where it's got a bracket on each tube, you're going to want to update it. If it does have it, you still want to check them and make sure that they're not cracked. And to check them, you're just going to hold your finger over one side, shoot air into it. Usually it cracks right up in here, sometimes on the bracket. I'll check that after a while. I'll go ahead and take all this apart. Check your bore here for where these rings ride. Usually they're not worn out, but every once in a great while they are. You want to pay attention to how your check valve comes out. Disconnect your linkage. Go ahead and bring this out. There's some more. Where the heck did that come from? I wonder what these guys did. Alright, you got 2 dowel pins on every section of your valve body. $12mm here. Alright, what you do want to check is right up in here where this gear rides. You're going to want to put your shaft in there. Put your gear on it. Even though it looks good, you're going to want to measure your clearance in here and make sure that you're coming out okay. There. Dowel pins that want to stay, I just leave them. Check our bearings here. Check our spider gears. Our backlash. Make sure our pin's not coming out. Gear looks good. Alright, this one down in here. We got another locking tab. And it's 10mm. Here's our stop for it. This here, I usually turn this thing upside down in the cleaning machine and I let the vibration and the heat, and hopefully it'll come out of there on its own. If not, while it's hot, I use a puller to try to get this thing out of there. Usually you're not going to get it out cold. If you do, you're going to start screwing stuff up. So try to do it while it's hot. Go ahead and pull this race out of here if it'll come. And our oil slinger. Is this going to fall out? This bearing here is probably going to fall out. If this doesn't fall out on its own, when we blow air to it, it's probably going to shoot it out of there. So this I'm going to leave and put this in the cleaning machine. Hopefully this will come out. There's a sleeve down in here. You need to check to make sure it's not cracked, and you need to make sure it's not ring grooved. Alright, let this drain a little bit. Check our gear here, our bearings. Usually all this is fine. Going to put another tie strap on here. Make sure bearing didn't chew anything up. Like I say, hardly ever is any of this any bad. It's always in good shape. Going to mark these clutches so I know where they came from. All this is for speed. Pretty common for these torque converters to fail on these Hondas. As long as you don't drive them a long ways, you're not going to tear other things up. get this nut off. Inch and 5/16. I guess I forgot to mention that earlier. This is left-hand thread. And sometimes I can get this off with 2 heel bars. Sometimes I gotta go press this off. Oops. We'll see how it wants to act today. Usually I got this sitting in a hole in the table so it doesn't fall over. Alright, not going to cooperate, so let me go press this off. I'll be back. Okay, so we got our gear. Make sure everything looks okay. Everything's looking good. And we're gonna zip tie this together. I'm gonna mark this so I got quick reference for what goes where. Now these balance pistons on here are bonded, so it's a wise idea to replace them, especially on a Honda when it's so difficult to get to them. You're going to destroy case gaskets trying to get back in there. This side we got a snap ring. Probably going to want a pair of snap ring pliers with the hook. You can probably do it with the others, but this helps out a little bit. and somebody put the snap ring in upside down. All right. Everything looks okay there. And our last drum here. Alright, so pretty straightforward Honda build, just LS kit with pistons, torque converter, filter. I gotta figure out where that came from. I don't recognize it. This doesn't belong in there either, not even close to what our speed sensors look like. I mean, doesn't look like it got caught up in there, but I'm just not sure what happened here and where that came from, because I don't recognize that at all, and that's not even part of a speed sensor. So I got to double check everything. But that's what we're looking at on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.